Hey, what's up guys? In today's video, we're going to do a design tutorial, kind of a design tutorial. I don't know. I'm just going to show you how I would go about recreating some of the trending DB Cooper designs from the most recent episode of Top 5 Niches of the Week. Told you guys to comment below if you were interested in seeing me do kind of my take on these designs, because I thought it would be, a little bit fun to just show you how I'd go about doing it. And enough of you guys wanted to see it that here we are. We're going to make that happen today. So let's get right into it. Real quick reminder, I've got some free resources for you, all linked at the top of the description. I've got the free weekly print-on-demand giveaway that only takes like 10 seconds to enter if you want to do that. I've got my 7-day Merch by Amazon mini course completely free, and I've got a great Merch by Amazon Facebook group that I'd love to have you in. All right, so from Top 5 Niches of the Week, I mentioned that a couple days ago when we did the episode, there were some trending random niches. At least I thought it was random until you guys let me know that there was apparently a Netflix documentary that was recently put out on DB Cooper. So I was actually pretty familiar with the mystery surrounding it. So I got to check out the Netflix thing though and see if there's any progress made, what the prevailing theories might be about where he went. But essentially, I guess if it's been a while since I looked into the story, but isn't it just a guy who we don't even know his actual name or identity? I don't think his name is DB Cooper. It's just what the media calls him. Basically hijacked a plane, hijacked a plane in the sense that like he robbed the plane and then jumped out the back with some crazy sum of cash. I think maybe he had like a motorcycle station somewhere in the woods and took that away. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking of a movie now. Either way, pretty cool, pretty compelling storyline. I can see why people might be interested to wear this on a t-shirt and have some fun with it. We're going to have some fun today with our designs, and we're going to use these as the inspiration for the designs from the previous episode of Top 5 Niches of the Week. So let me jump on over to Photoshop and kind of show you how I would go about creating some cool DB Cooper t-shirts using these as inspiration. All right, really quickly, let's look at Wikipedia. So DB Cooper is an unidentified man who hijacked an airplane. It was a Boeing 727 aircraft. He asked to be flown to Mexico City, extorted them for $200,000 in ransom, I guess in the air, and then parachuted to an uncertain fate over southwestern Washington partway through the second flight. Interesting. Small portion of the ransom was found along the banks of a river. Triggered interest. Ultimately, it was a mystery. They call him Dan Cooper. That's what he booked the airline ticket in. So anyways, that is the backstory here. If anybody was curious, I'm sure the Netflix documentary goes into more depth. Now, the first thing I want to do for these designs is I needed to get a picture of DB Cooper. And I actually used Wikipedia to get the first image, because most of the images on Wikipedia are open source, and plus there was like an FBI sketch. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but if you're really worried, I guess like hire one to figure out the legality behind if you can use FBI sketches in your designs. But actually, where was the one that I ended up using? I think it's further down the page right here. All right, this one right here is the one that I ended up using with the sunglasses and whatnot. Ultimately, what I did is I pulled it into Photoshop. I used the magic wand tool to remove most of the background here, like you see. And then what I did is I went to Cartoonize, all right? And I'll put a link to all of these tools that I reference in the description in case you want to check it out. You've seen me use Cartoonize before, though. It is pretty cool. It's a nice way of just like, I mean, you can also add like filters inside of Photoshop and probably accomplish similar things. But with Cartoonize, they just like bundle together a bunch of these effects. And on the left-hand side here, you can just use the little magic wand and you can click like Cartoonizer, Sketcher, Painting, Digital Art. In this case, I used Painting. And then I believe down here near the bottom, I used this effect right here, PA007. And you can actually, when you apply it, you can like use a little slider to adjust how strong of an effect is applied to the graphic you uploaded. But anyways, I liked it in this quality right here behind me. So then I went ahead and I downloaded this, and I've got this just in a folder that I called DB Cooper. So you can kind of see right here, I've got the colored version, got the black and white version. It's not perfect. I might clean it up if I was actually going to use it on some t-shirts. And then you'll notice I've got some other graphics that I'll show you how I gathered. This is just kind of me gathering the graphics that I'm going to need to recreate these t-shirt designs before we actually jump in and try to put the designs together. But I just wanted to be transparent about how I got all of them. So after this, I needed a parachuter. All right, so I found one on Creative Fabrica right here. All right, and you'll notice it's a lot of like hang gliders and whatnot. Ultimately, I just wanted the guy on a parachute. I figured that would do, even though it's pretty basic, pretty elementary. There's actually a lot of options on Creative Fabrica. There's just, I mean, almost infinite options, it feels like. But this one seemed like it would get the job done. It was already a silhouette. So I can put a link to this as well if you're interested. And then I just needed a picture of a star for one of the designs. I noticed they used some stars in the design. I don't know if I'm going to recreate them necessarily pixel for pixel, but here we go. All right, so the first design says like hide and seek champion. So I go to my merch template here. I just have like a PSD. It's like a nice jumping off point for my merch designs. You can see I've already got some curved text built into this design. But if anybody's interested in how to actually do that, I can show you really quickly. So you would go down here to like the custom shape tool, I think is what it's called. I don't know. Can you hover over it and see? I'm not great about what they're actually called in Photoshop, and I'll go full screen actually. But it's like this blob shape, and I'm just going to go to the ellipse tool, okay? And I'm going to hold shift and just draw a circle, okay? So I held shift while I drew that circle, and then you can just click the text tool, and you should be able to mouse over. You see when you draw the circle, there's like a dot on the top, on the left, on the right, and on the bottom. So if I want to put curved text on the top, I hover over the dot on the top with the text tool, and you'll see it changes the icon. So then you can click in. And look at that, it creates curved text for us. Then you just literally, you know, change the text to DB Cooper, you know, whatever you want it to say. All right. And you've got that. You can hide the ellipse now. And for this first design, what does it say? Like hide and seek champion. I mean, I'm not exactly trying to like copy these exact designs, but just to get like a high level, you know, insight into how I might go about doing this, I might just then drag and drop. I gotta click out of the text tool for it to allow me to do that. Okay, drag and drop the DB Cooper graphic here, like hide and seek. Definitely doesn't look that good now that I realize I cut off the bottom of his shirt. But you know what you can do actually is maybe like you can, whenever you have a flat bottom like that, you can just like line up some text kind of right along champion. Maybe change the text to, what is this? Edmund Texture is the font name that I'm using. So hide and seek champion. Generally speaking, if I'm doing something like this, I might, you know, this might actually look better as a against a white background too, which, you know, I'm not opposed to doing, because it's a nice way of being a little bit contrarian. So what I might do is just match the color of the text to the color of the graphic. All right, so I don't think that looks that bad. Maybe even like make the text at the top bigger. Okay. And since we're not really using like a circular design in the middle there, we didn't have to do the circle curved text. We could have also just like put standard text here, and then at the very top, whoops, don't forget to center your text. I forgot to center mine. You can go at the top here, and there's like an icon that's like the text icon with a curved line underneath it. It's called warped text. You can click that, and then for style, just do probably like arc upper. You can also just do arc, but whatever you would want to do. And then you can change the bend degree, okay, to whatever you think looks best, but I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, so I would say that's design version number 1, and now we can move on to number 2. So number 2 has a circle in it, and let's go back to the, okay, so I kind of reset everything for the next design, so we can do the ellipsis again, get our curved text one more time. I don't know why it's filling in the ellipsis. I'm sure it's just like some setting I can turn off. But let's just really quickly. So DB Coopers. Okay, so we got the text up there. I'm going to hide the ellipse. Actually, I might keep it shown for a second because I just want to show you. I'm going to then go to the elliptical marquee tool, and I'm going to make a new layer behind me. I just realized I'm blocking the layers, so I apologize for that. Okay, and I'm going to make a circle. Now I can turn off the ellipsis because I don't need it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to edit and then stroke. Okay, and I will make a 10 pixel stroke for the circle. Okay. And if we need it to be thicker, I can always just, you know, use the blending options as well. But whatever, the whole point is just to have a circle there. Maybe I'll make it a little bit thicker. So blending options, stroke, and put it on the outside, and do another 10 pixels to kind of double the thickness there. Okay. I'm just looking at my side monitor because that's where I have my reference points for these designs. Then it says something like skydiving school, and it looks like the design says skydiving school really small inside the circle. What I might prefer to do is to just put some more curved text in this design and put it at the bottom instead. So I'll go back to the drawing board here. I drew a new ellipsis. I got the text now, and what I'm going to say is skydiving school. All right, and it looks like it's actually like inverted that, which is interesting. I think if I find the pointer right here, I should be able to like pull it up. Yeah, so this tool right here, it's like the second pointer. It's called the path selection tool. If you go and you click the text you just made and you just kind of like pull it upwards, it'll flip it to be inside out now. And then up here in the character pane, I believe it is... I believe it's the A, like uppercase A and then lowercase a thing. And I think if we just add a value there, okay, and it needs to be a negative value in this case, it'll pull the text out for us. I know I'm not the best Photoshop instructor, apologies. But it does get the job done, right? So DB Cooper's skydiving school, looking pretty much like close enough to the one we were trying to reference here. And then I've got the PNG cutout of the skydiver here. Just need to add some color, whatever color we want to add. I've been doing everything in white, so you guys already know how to change the color of something. Like if we really wanted to do it from, I gotta like pull this in on my end because I don't have the overlay that I'm gonna edit in after this video that you guys see, but I can grab the color right there. And then all I really need to do is flatten all of these elements that I am working with here, and then just apply like a color overlay to match it to what we were looking at, what we were attempting to recreate. So that should do it basically right there. If I wanted to, I could draw another like inner circle, but hopefully this is close enough, right? Okay. So what does the next one look like? All right, there's number 3 and number 5 look very similar to each other in that it's DB Cooper's, flying school or whatever. Okay, let's do this. We'll use the previous like larger circle text. Just resetting the design here. Now I had used all sunsets to find, these really nice pre-made sunsets. Again, just saving, to me, time is money and saving time is what I'm all about. So rather than make these sunsets myself, which I have done a previous video on probably like 2 years ago at this point, but this is basically how I would go about doing it here. Okay. So I might put the like parachuter right there. I might even actually cut off the red portion at the bottom there. And here's the thing: do I want a white like a white graphic overlaid on the against the sunset, or do I want to just merge these two into one layer and then magic wand the parachuter so that this way I can change the background color of the shirt and everything should still work. You know what I mean? It should just show the background color of the shirt through. That's what I would prefer to do myself. So I just ended up cutting out the silhouette instead of just leaving the graphic floating. And then, like I mentioned, I might do, I do actually kind of prefer this rather than, generally speaking, I mean, I guess whatever makes sense on a design to design basis. But I do like when you kind of have like a flat bottom and just like a piece of text there. For some reason, for me, I think it looks really cohesive, but it is just a subjective, design preference. So DB Cooper's skydiving school. Could do something like this. All right. Maybe not that close together. DB Cooper's skydiving school. All right, not bad. If I was actually going to sell this, I would also like move all of these elements closer to the top of the design, something like that. And yeah, I'd probably resize the skydiving school text as well so it's not just like massive relative to the size of the text at the top of the design. So something like this. And of course, you could also change the color to match, the part of the design that it's closest to. So something like this as well. All right. And that might do it. So yeah, so then what are we left with? Just one other design. And that other design is basically just taking that graphic that we had acquired earlier, You could do the cartoonized version. I mean, you can play around with the cartoonizer as well. Like you have a lot of flexibility in there with working with graphics, or just the black and white version here. Okay. I've actually done at least one design in the past that was a really funny one. I won't say what it is, obviously, but like it was like using a sketch like this, kind of like a criminal sketch artist thing, and it was a funny design that still sells to this day. But it got hijacked so many times because it was like, I mean, I'm not a great graphic designer, but I was really proud of how it came out. All right, so this would be, I guess, the last DB Cooper design. I can't figure out how they got the exact like silhouette. You know, like, I can show you how I would go about attempting to do this, but whoever made that design did a better job than I probably am capable of. So you can go to select and then go to color range, okay? And then from here, you can kind of click into your design and it'll do like a select for you on colors similar to what you just selected. So what I might do then is do this one more time. I'll do one more select and then color range and try to pull out a little bit more of the like lighter colors, okay? I'll pull that as well. Now, here's the thing. I need a gray t-shirt color, so let me grab this off of the Merch by Amazon t-shirt. Okay, I'm going to grab that color gray. I'm going to set the background color to that color so that I can actually like prep for what it's going to look like on Merch by Amazon. And then on the foreground, I will experiment with just doing a color overlay of black. And all right, maybe I sold myself short. I don't think we did too bad of a job there. I didn't expect it to come out. Like, it's not perfect by any stretch, but it's also not that bad. I mean, I'm happy with how that looks, given my personal expectation for how I'd be able to execute this. Definitely not perfect, but also definitely not the worst that I could have done. All right, guys, and I think that just about wraps up for what I wanted to do in this video. If that was an awful tutorial, let me know in the comments, because it's tough, man. It's tough doing these Photoshop tutorials, especially when I realize halfway through the video that I'm blocking the rightmost panel, the layers panel, which is an important one to be able to see. So I do apologize. I should have done one of these and like moved myself to the other side of the screen. That certainly would have made more sense. So maybe next time I will do that, and hopefully that will at least improve the quality of these tutorials. But hey, it's YouTube. It is free for what it's worth, but I will continue to try to improve my my game here for you guys, for everybody. Anyways, hope we had fun with this tutorial, guys. Check out the documentary on Netflix. No, nobody paid me to say that, but it does sound interesting, so maybe I'll check it out as well. Hit that like button and subscribe if this video helped you, and I will see you soon with a new video.